Hey, welcome back. It's a Monday morning. It's a little breezy here in Milton, or I'd be doing this. If it wasn't so breezy, I'd be doing this outside, sitting in my beautiful, comfortable camping chair. That thing, it's probably the best thing that happened to me all week, to be honest with you, is getting that camping chair for $15. That thing is the bomb. I may go get a couple more. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but by golly, it's a value, and I need value in my life. But it's not a cloud in the sky today. It's looking beautiful. The water here, Riverside, is ripply. Ripley. Is that even a word? Ripley. Sounds like bubbly. Remember Fred Sanford? Bubbly. Always talking about bubbly. But yeah, I'm sitting here parked at this place I called Eagles Landing in Russell Harbor Landing Park in Milton, Florida. I love, reminiscing a little bit about this place because this place has brought a lot of entertainment, some good, some bad. But in case you're new to the channel, I'll tell you why I call it. I just named it Eagles Landing. There was a fallen down tree that's in front of me now, and the tides and whatnot and weather has pushed it further up, but you can see the root system of this tree. And once upon a time, it was kind of like on an angle, like, I don't know, 45-degree angle to where I'm parked right now. Now it's more like a 90-degree angle. But one day, an American bald eagle landed on the tree and was literally like, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet in front of my van. And so I filmed it real quick. And then I had my phone down here. I was looking down at the phone and trying to rewatch it real quickly. And then I looked up and the eagle, I didn't see the eagle anymore. Well, he jumped down off of the tree and picked up I'm assuming it was a dead mullet. He picked it up and then flew away with the mullet. And I was able to capture that on film. It was a short video. What did I call that video? Eagle snatches up lunch or something like that. And it was a pretty cool video. I mean, I wish I could have got like a second or two before that. It would have been nice to see the whole process. I only caught him taking off with the mullet, but you could clearly see it in its talons. So that's why I call this this Eagles Landing. There's actually a campground right down the road called Eagles Landing. So I don't know. It was just something stupid I came up with. And so I'll tell you about my weekend. Let me tell you about my weekend. That's what I'm going to call this title. Let me tell you about my weekend. So I was all excited, and I had plans to do a 2-day camp out. Originally, I wanted to go to Carrick Lake North, which is Baker, Florida. Really cool place, excellent cell phone reception at that site. It's funny, you go right across the other side of the little lake there. It's not really a little lake, I guess it's all relative, but go on the other side of the lake, and on Carrick Lake South, you can't get any cell phone reception, or at least I can't with my provider. That's why I like going to Carrick Lake North. Plus, they have the little fishing pier, and I don't know. It's just more cozy. I feel like there's less campsites, and well, I'm pretty certain there's less campsites, and I just like it there. And but with the forecast being a lot of wind in the forecast, I thought I might as well just go to Mystic Springs Recreation Area, which is about 40 miles the other direction. And it has more trees around, more like a wind barrier. I thought that could be a good idea. And when I went online, I checked the reservation system. They only had one site available, and that site was site number 2. which in the past I was not a real big fan of. My favorite site there is site number 3. I stayed at, a few months back, I had probably one of the biggest fears of my life when I stayed at site number 7. I'm not saying it was Sasquatch, but it was something big and heavy and sounded pretty intimidating at site number 7. So yeah, I didn't like that. I initially thought it was going to be a cool setup, but after dark, man, it's crazy. Like, I'm in this group called Southeast Heritage Outdoors on Facebook, and they all tell you strange things happen at night out there. You know, there's all kinds of critters. And I don't mind the traditional raccoon, you know, possum, feral cat, and armadillos and stuff like that. It's the big heavy-footed ones that scare the daylights out of me. And a few months back, it was heavy-footed, and it was coming towards me. I didn't have very good lighting. The campfire was behind me. They could see me. I couldn't see them. I say them, you know, it sounded only like one being. But yesterday I talked with my buddy, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, Saturday, I talked with my buddy James Emmons, who runs that group, and we talked about a lot of things. And there's been a lot of sightings and incidents and reports from that area and things. And he and I talked, and he had some personal experiences, were a little more detailed and accurate with accounts of people possibly seeing a Sasquatch. I never did see anything, but I did hear some strange stuff, and people were asking me about, did I smell anything? First of all, I have bad sinuses. The fire pit was behind me. The wind was kind of, I believe, was at my back at that time, going towards the noise. So I really couldn't say 100%, but it's not saying that. And if you hear of any Bigfoot / Sasquatch reports or sightings, they tend to break branches and try and be dominant and show that that's their territory. I didn't hear any of that. I did hear some big, heavy-footed, what did my coworker's father call it, bipedal or something like that, meaning upright creature on 2 feet. So I don't know, but that place scares the crap out of me. So I figured, you know, it's free, you know, just attack your fears. Don't worry about it. He probably just hiking through. Not a big deal, right? So I decided to, I booked the campsite for one night. And this is a wildlife management area that is free. And it has some beautiful amenities. So every site has a pavilion. Every site has an upright cooking station. Every site has a picnic table. Every site has a fire ring, fire pit. So you can't beat it for the price. And at the time, I chose only to do one night because of the weather forecast was supposed to get real bad. And so when I started watching the weather forecast, after I had already reserved the reservation, I had arrived there, I realized it was going to be storming only overnight, basically from midnight to 6 a.m. or something like that. So I was like, cool. So I tried to reserve another night at the same site, and they wouldn't allow what they called overlapping and stuff like that. And it sucks because you have to check out by 1. And I didn't want to have to, it wouldn't allow me to just do another reservation at any site there until I was checked out. If I had done multiple days initially, I probably would have been okay. But I didn't know that the weather was going to turn out the way it did. So I know I'm rambling. I tend to do that. I'm trying to be detailed here. So that Saturday, my buddy James shows up and we get talking. I had this real cool, elaborate, I won't say elaborate, but I guess for my level of videography skills, it was elaborate for me. And I was going to do this real cool, unique recipe, a different wildfowl, you could call it. It was going to be different. And it took a lot of creativity to do that. Then he got talking and we got talking, and then one thing led to another, and he left, and then it got to be dark and the lighting wasn't good, and it went downhill quickly. But I was hungry and I had purchased the food, so I went and did the meal, and it turned out pretty good. It would have turned out better if I had done it, in proper lighting conditions, daytime, so to speak. But I learned a little bit, and I think it's going to be another good video I can do later. It was kind of like an experiment. I executed some redneck engineering, even though I'm a Yankee. Yes, I think there are redneck Yankees. And it was kind of fun doing all that, and I was able to, I got my little camp chair set up, and I love me a good fire pit, got fire blaze, and I threw the wood on the fire. I had a little bit of hard time again, man. I don't know, guy that does all these fire starting videos has a hard time starting a fire sometimes, but some of the pit was a little bit moist. But I finally got it done. I've got determination and a little bit, some know-how. Got her going finally. And it was disappointing because I wanted 2 days of camping out there, and I had all these videos planned. I'm like, so this is what I need: 2 days of camping, just relax, tranquility, nature, raccoons, skunks, all that good stuff. Skunks. And, oh yeah. It didn't turn out that well. When I was chilling by the campfire, let me hit pause for 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to take care of something. You can assume what it was. But yeah, I got the fire blaze going, and it was good. It was really good, to be honest with you. I was so comfortable in that chair. The blaze was going perfectly. I didn't hear Sasquatch or raccoons, skunks, armadillos, feral cats, or feral people, or anything. It was, even though almost every site was filled up, it was a good time. I was right by the river, and I was just sitting back, just enjoying, watching YouTube. And I knew the rain was going to come later at night, like I said, midnight-ish or something like that. And then I'm just kicking back, and thinking, tomorrow, the next day I'm going to probably just hang out until checkout time, which was, 1 o'clock. And then I would just reserve the next day, and hopefully no incoming camper was coming in to that site, and I was going to be disrupting their convenience and their reservation. So I get up the next morning. Well, let me back up. So as I'm sitting by the campfire, it becomes apparent, watching Facebook posts and all these notifications I was getting on my phone, that we had tornado warnings. for Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi. And when I saw the one notification, it showed the hub, the center of the activity, was right where G Money was chilling in his new camp chair. I was like, gosh darn it. So I was looking around and like, man, I'm surrounded by nothing but trees, and picture, like, I'll try to do it like this. Pavilion here. Let me do this backwards. Yeah, so over here. So that would be a tree. That's my broken finger that I've had since high school. I'm not deliberately doing that. My end digit is permanently broken. But so I have a tree here. So I was parked right between, and it was a big old, I don't know, I'm not a arborist, so I don't know, it was an oak tree or something. But I looked at it and looked pretty healthy and pretty strong. But all around me, there was just a lot of trees. And so I'm like, oh crap. So it was like, I think it was like 10:20 or something like that when I see that, and I realized, man, I still got a lot of crap out, and I needed to purge it from the tables and stuff like that. So I'm literally just doing a speed pack up, getting everything in the van. And the van never looks pretty, and it was looking pretty good when I had everything out of there. But now all of a sudden I had to throw all the crap back into the van, and man, it just everything just went downhill after that. So I just hung out in the van and I lay down. It poured buckets of rain. I don't know how much rain we got, rainfall in amount of inches, but I know what the river looked like the day before and what it looked like in the morning, and the river was high. It was really high. And so I get up in the morning and I decide, I'm going to go down. You're out in the boonies out there, and the local convenience store is like 15 miles away. So I'm going to go down to this, I think it's called a Cumberland Farms. I'm going to go down there and get a cup of coffee, and I get in the van and start going, and the van, I'm losing power, and then it's starting to kick and buck, and oh man, I'm like, you talk about literally like 12 hours before I was in tranquility zone, sitting in a comfortable camping chair. Now I'm picturing $300 for a tow back to Milton, and the van's running like it did before, and just really bad. So I get my coffee and I limp the van back to the campsite, and now I'm really, really fearful. I still have one more day off, and I need to be a responsible employee, responsible member of management, and get to work. So I said, all right, well, might as well just try and limp this van back towards Milton. And I was trying to find an auto parts store right next to a gas station, because in the past, when I had that problem, all I needed was some fuel injection cleaner. So, I believe it or not, I did have one bottle in the van, but after I had used the previous product called Heat, Heet, people had told me the one I had purchased, which was, I don't know, I forget what STP product or something, I forget what it is. I heard bad things about that. So I was pretty much told not to use it. So I was trying to hold off and not use it. And so I did, my vehicle was running very weak, and the check engine light was blinking, and just all this stuff. I finally did get the bottle of Heat, another bottle of Heat, put fuel in it, and took a while, but it didn't fix it right away, just like the last time. It took about a day and a half for it to actually do what it's supposed to do, I guess. It mixes with your fuel. You have to put that in, then put fuel on top of it, so it mixes and blends really well. So I really pissed. So I go back to truck stop life, and I had that in there, and I didn't do a whole lot of anything yesterday. Um, it was going to get 29 degrees with the wind chill overnight, so I needed my van to run. So I sat parked and just did some YouTube stuff watching, and wasn't too happy with my continual problems, but finally just let the van run all night, and it seems to be running a lot better this morning. Hopefully it stays that way for a little while, and it just scares. Literally, when that vehicle started, I was 40 miles from Milton. Like, my hands were shaking so bad because I'm like, oh no, this could be the death of me. I might have had enough money to pay for a tow, but I wouldn't have had enough money to survive the week, and it just it's just scary. Every time I leave Milton to go explore and have genuine fun, the vehicle acts up. It's like when I hit, that's kind of like headed towards Pensacola, then you go north of it. Anytime I go towards Pensacola, it's like the Bermuda Triangle for me and my luck in this vehicle. But like I said, van seems to be running better today. Hoping it stays that way for a while. It just sucks being so financially crippled, and all I'm trying to do is seek happiness and seek nature, and just the little things like that can ruin a good effort for pleasure. But I did get a squeeze in a couple videos. The cooking meal, I'm going to call it a failure because I couldn't film it, but it had some successes. I can duplicate that, replicate that, I guess, and do that. It just then I did a video yesterday with my log splitter, and it was super windy out, and I was determined to do something positive, and the sound quality was terrible. Cool product, and I'm glad I did it, experimented, and I like that. It was something cool and different. But yeah, here I am, just a nomad in a creeper van down by the river. I may try in a couple weeks request a day off, maybe like on a Monday, so I can have a 3-day weekend. Perhaps do a 3-day camp. Attempt it. But I've been exploring the option of there's a Starlink has a mobile app now. I actually downloaded the app. I didn't pay for it, but it's like $50 a month. But I'm confused because when you go to Starlink, there's so many like people running ads for Starlink. It's very confusing which one's the real site, and I almost feel like, and then when I check some, they're all like from, like, I don't know where the hell they're from, like Indonesia, or like they're all from overseas, and I just feel like it's such a popular item that there's a lot of scam sites, and I know that you can get the Starlink on the mobile app for $50 a month, but I think you have to purchase the device, the smaller device. I forget what they call it, the mini or something like that. I think it's like $200. So I really don't have the $200 to buy the mini, but there's a lot of really cool campsites I want to go to in the forest and stuff like that. The only reason I don't go out there is because I'm by myself, and most of those places do not have any cell phone reception or the ability to watch YouTube or upload YouTube videos. So I'm hoping that could be an option within the next 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm just very, very insecure on what site is a trustworthy site. So if you've researched it and you know more about the Starlink, and you can point me in the direction of the correct non-scamming site, I would like to learn more. And even, I would love to be able to pick up a phone. It seems like none of these companies anymore you can actually talk to a human representative, and I always feel more comfortable that way, as long as it's not somebody from India or something like that, because I don't have trust there. But all right, folks, I just literally was bored, as you can tell. Been talking for 26 minutes. Y'all have a great week, and remember, it's gonna be a great week. You know how I know? Because I got my my card punched at Taco Town, and I'm on number 10, which means I get a free meal today. Hot diggity dog! Woo! Let tacos soothe your soul.